everyone, welcome back to Discussion with Comfort. As you already know, I'm your hostess Comfort, and with us today we have a very special somebody. She's an amazing poet, she is a web designer, she's honestly everything, and then some. She'll be talking to us today about her journey from Miss to Mrs. So all you single ladies, all you married ladies, and everyone in between those stages, get ready and stay tuned. Welcome. Hi, Michelle. It's been a minute. It's not Prairie anymore, is it? No, it ain't. Mrs.
Atams.
Oh,
Atams.
Oh,
Mrs. Atams.
Mrs. Tams. Okay, so obviously before you became Mrs. Tams, you were Miss Perry. Mm-hmm. So we just want to explore your journey from singleness during your period when you were Miss Perry, and just talk about that journey of singleness that you went through, and obviously that you're still going through. Just because you're married doesn't mean your journey ends. Mm-hmm. It's just, it changes.
It's
in a
different.
way. Yeah, exactly. So tell us a bit about your journey when you were Miss Perry.
Well, where do I start? So I don't even know where to begin. Like it was just it was just finding out like who I am, mm-hmm. and kind of growing, just growing to find out like what I'm like. Also just like growing with God, and obviously just figuring out things, working through things, just serving. Like I was just serving in the church, serving people around me. Is this before dating? Or?
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your identity. Who was Michelle before she started dating?
Okay, so before I started dating, I was very insecure. I kind of beginning stages, I was very insecure. I wasn't really like sure like what I wanted to do. I was very much a people pleaser. Like that was a big thing. I wanted to like get like attention and appreciation from people, okay. And I was like just literally chasing friendships and like chasing approval from people. I was trying to like prove to my parents that I was a good child. I was trying to prove to my teachers that I was good enough. I was trying to like prove to my friends that I was like worthy of being a friend, and like literally just spent my life chasing people, like chasing approval, chasing people to love me and stuff like that. And that was before I was dating. Even like being like before I started dating, like a year, I think. Like I went to the church and I was just like, I'm here to find a husband. Like that was my initial thought of going to church. I mean, I'd gotten saved and I was like serving and I was in church and I was reading my Bible, but like
you just got to that place.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah. I was just like, if I'm in church, then that must mean there's a good, that I'm gonna get that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But
okay,
literally, but like that was literally my heart. Like, beginning of my salvation, I really wanted to date. I really wanted because I've been through situations where I liked people but they didn't like me, or it was a situationship. It wasn't like a concrete. So I was in the church and I was like, no God, like I'm here to find me a husband. Like I'm ready for this.
Did you feel like those desires were genuine in terms of you get to a place where it's kind of like, I'm not sure whether the right phrase is God places it upon your heart in terms of like you're ready. Well, no one's actually ready. You're matured enough to kind of progress now and actually be in a relationship with somebody else. Because obviously, being in a relationship with someone else, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. People don't realize when they're single, but you do tend to realize it when you are in a relationship with somebody. So, do you feel like, obviously, now, but then do you think that those desires were actually godly, or was it a case of you just wanted, not to be alone, basically?
Absolutely not. They were not godly in the slightest. Like, it was literally my flesh. My flesh was just like, I've had enough of being denied by people, being rejected by people. I was hurt from being rejected.
So it kind of came from the people pleasing.
Literally, it was just like, I've been rejected by all these people. Like, I'm in church. Surely there's someone who can accept me here. That was my mindset. I was not ready for a relationship. When I look back now, I'm like, what were you doing? Like, you would have just ruined your relationship. Like,
only the me then knows what the me now knows.
Literally,
Hey.
I think back and I'm like, no, you were not ready. You weren't ready. Like, you were childish. Like, I was still people pleasing. Like, relationships were my idol. Like, let's face it, relationships were my idol. I bowed down at the thought of having someone to call me babe, to take me on dates, to like introduce me to their family, and to like hold me and all these things. Like, and even that mindset of a dating, like that wasn't what God had in plan, because God doesn't want you to just satisfy your flesh when you're dating. He wants you to date towards a purpose. He wants you to date purely and all these things. And I didn't have that in my mind. Like, I ended up liking this guy who went to my church, and it was just shambolic. Oh my God! Like, sometimes I'm just like, what are you doing? Like literally, I ended up liking this guy, and it was confusing. Like, I saw a quote recently, and it said, if a guy likes you, then he'll tell you. But if he doesn't like you, you're gonna be very confused. So I was like thinking back, I'm like, that was the situation. I was confused. Like, there were times where I'd be in church, like after church, and I'd just be down, and I'm like, and like my friends would be asking me what's going on, and I would just start crying because I'm like, I don't understand what this guy wants. Like, I don't get it. Like, why can't you just be honest? Like, it was just so confusing. And meanwhile, he had another girl that he was pursuing. Like, in back. Do you know what I mean? But for me, like, I didn't see that. All I saw was, I like this guy, but he doesn't like me. I'm being rejected again. And I literally, like, that was my idol. I was like, this guy was my idol. Like, I wanted to be like, you know, I'm worthy of being someone's girlfriend. Like, I'm worthy. And I literally had to say to God, you know what, God, like, I've been worshiping an idol, and I have to repent. I had to repent, and I was just like, God, like, I'm laying it down. Like, this is just me. I think I've said this before. Like, that was me before dating. And after that, I just learned to serve. I just learned to like, this obviously we're going to talk about it more later, but like, I mean, God wasn't finished with me. I think I just kind of moved on really quickly. There were things in me that I still hadn't dealt with. I still hadn't like really like buckled down and been like, okay, God, let's do this. Like, I was very, very like, I didn't surrender at all. Like, I didn't surrender. I think most of my service, even though I did love God and I did worship with the heart of worship, and I did read my Bible, and I loved being in church, and I loved serving, I think it was just like that one area of my life that I hadn't really like gone deep with. It ended up just infecting everything else, even though everything else was good. It's kind of like, but it's kind of like if you put a rotten fruit in a bowl of fruits that are good, those fruits are still good, like you can still eat them, but as soon as that rotten fruit gets to them, they all turn rotten. So that's like the picture of what happened to me. Like,
so it was because there were certain things that you, I don't want to say buried, but didn't fully dealt with. Obviously, you know, one reason or the other wasn't actually dealt with, and then you got into a relationship, and it just exposed it even more. And and do you know what? You hear a lot of married people say. I believe someone actually said that to me before. They were like, when you get married, it doesn't expose your good qualities. It actually just shows how selfish you really are as a human being. And it literally got me thinking in terms of like, marriage really exposes you for who you truly are. The ugly side of things that people don't even, you know, want to admit admit they are, because everyone's like, okay, we're striving towards, you know, not perfection, but you know, to be good, to be a good person one way or the other. And everyone wants to be humble, everyone wants to be good, but we're all human, we all fall short. And there are some things about you that are not quite right. And, you know, relationship, marriage, they do bring those sides out of you. And obviously not only you see them, your partner
was
like, whoa, I didn't know that was you.
What's
That's
going
really
on
you.
here?
Okay, so that is actually quite interesting to say. So how would you say that affected your relationship? Because everything does happen for a reason. You know, you can never be perfect or have dealt with everything before you start dating or before you get to, because even if you feel like, you know, I need to deal with it, fair enough, there are some situations kind of like, okay, you cannot be with anyone else, you've got to deal with this, you have to deal with this, otherwise it'll just be toxic for everybody else. But you know, how did you deal with that situation? Looking back now, do you feel like if you just stayed single for a little bit more and dealt with it, it would have been beneficial for your relationship? Or do you feel like that issue was kind of like a blessing in disguise, you know, in a way?
I mean, sometimes there are times that, like, in the past I've looked back and I've been like, God, if I only just took more time, if I only just did this, like, as Christians, we love to say, what if only, if only I did this, if only I did. But I think sometimes you kind of miss God's blessing in the hard times that you go through. And the root of everything that happened between my partner and I, it was like, well, my husband and I, it was more of like a heart issue. I think I didn't think that I was above temptation. That was the thing. As a newly saved person, I think the one thing that you need to know is no one is above temptation. Whether you're a pastor, whether you're a minister, whether you're newly saved or even saved, you're never above. So I think that's one thing that I didn't really grasp. And even if it was something that was talked about, I always thought, no, like, I'm saved now, so I can do it. It's cool. So I think that was really the root of what happened. And then that paired with the whole people pleasing thing, I was still very insecure, like suffering from rejection and all of these things. And it just kind of like, all of these things, they just kind of merged into one. And I mean, looking back, it is a blessing in disguise, because the things that we would have gone through in our marriage, we went through before we got married. So it really like cemented us together. Like, it was terrible and it was hard and it was frustrating and there were lots and lots of tears. But like, at the end of the day, like, the Bible says, like when you go through stuff, you're being refined, like gold is refined, like silver's being refined. So I think it was a really testing time, but it was refining us. It was building us for marriage. It was building us for a lifetime together. Because to be honest, you can't just argue once and then decide, you know what,
that's it,
I'm good. No, you can't do that. Like, marriage is a lifetime commitment. It's till death. Like, that's the only way out. That's the only way out. So I think, like, it was hard and it was testing and it was terrible. But but we made it through.
You know, I really love what you said there in terms of like, marriage is a lifetime commitment. There's no way out. So, you know, when you're in a relationship with someone, you know, I think, you know, some people prefer the word courting rather than dating or relationship. So, you know, when you're in that scenario, do you think, should I say, that the journey begins from there rather than when you guys are married? Or do you think the journey starts when you're married? You know, because I think this is something that I think a lot of people don't read. It's not, let me not say it's not clarified, right, in terms of the journey of two people becoming one. Of course, you know, there's certain things you shouldn't do before marriage, you know. There's a lot of things people shouldn't do before marriage. But, you know, that's up to everybody's convictions. Everybody's got their own personal convictions and everything. And obviously there's some standard stuff. But, you know, the two becoming one doesn't just happen overnight. It's a process. Now, you were talking about the fact that you guys went through so much that could have broken you up, but instead it drew you guys together. Would you say that journey of two becoming one, did you start way before you said I do?
Definitely. Like, I think when you decide to date someone and you decide, okay, I'm going to be in a relationship with this person, you're making a commitment. Like, as a Christian, like, being in a courtship with someone or dating someone should not be I'm gonna try it out, and then if it doesn't work out, you know, I can just move on to the next person. It should be, okay, I'm going into this, like, bearing in mind you're going to be joining together with someone's emotions, someone's thoughts. Like, you're going to be dealing with their mood. You're going to be going through a lot of things together, learning things together, and you're going to be investing a lot, and the other person's investing in you. So you want to make sure this is a commitment I'm making. I'm not just asking you to be my girlfriend just because I like you and I like the way you worship, or I like the work that you do, or the things that you love. I'm doing this because I want to make a lifetime commitment to you.
Yeah.
That's what it should be, because that's what God desires. God doesn't desire for us to just jump in and jump out and jump in and jump out. Like, the becoming one process has to be a mindset. It's not just about having sex when you're married. It's not just about going through testing times when you are in a marriage.
Yeah.
It's about, okay, like, we need to be on the same wavelength. We need to have the same values. We need to believe the same thing about money, about kids, about traveling, about work, about all these things that you have to. Yeah, you need to have the same mind.
Yeah.
That's what to become one means. It means you're literally thinking the same, like speaking the same, praying the same, feeling the same way.
Yeah.
So it starts way before you say I do. It starts when, like, you start making little decisions and you start, like, making little sacrifices for your relationship. Like, let's say if your boyfriend says, do you know what, like, I don't think you should wear these certain clothes just because they're a bit too much for me, and they may be a bit too much for other men. You have to consider, okay, like, he's saying this because he loves me and because he wants me to be pure and modest. Yeah. That's you, like, your submission. That's already you learning how to submit to your husband. It's not just about, oh, do the dishes and then you do the dishes. Make me food.
Oh,
and you make me food.
behavior.
Honestly, like you learn submission in such little ways like that. Maybe if you're spending too much money and he says, babe, look, like, I think this month we spent a lot of money and you should probably think about saving some. Yeah. But that's becoming one already. Because when you're married, what do you think you're going to talk about the most? Money.
No, it's true. Money can make or break. It is no joke. But obviously, with that being said as well, I do understand, you know, there are some couples out there where, you know, you've thought about it, you've prayed about it, you do feel like this relationship is the one, but you've gone into it and it's different, and you know, it is, you know, it's, you guys can be great friends and it would have made sense, but now you guys are together and you're just like, you know what, we will kill each other. Yeah. Like, Jesus is gonna come a lot sooner. So, you know, and I do understand that. So in those situations, it is okay to be like, do you know what, I've given my 100, but the me now cannot deal with the you now. Like, it's, you know, it is okay to go your separate ways. It is okay to take a step back and just give yourselves that time to grow as well as individuals, and then, you know, maybe in the future if you want to come back together again, or you do go your separate ways, you know, not all relationships unfortunately end in marriage for Christian couples, and I think that is also something I would also like to address, especially in church as well. Like, especially, you know, in church you have a family, everybody knows everyone, and then when you start dating somebody, especially when you're both in the same church, everyone will know. So I know that there's that little unspoken pressure on people, even when the relationship isn't working. They don't know how to, not because of themselves, but because of other people out there. You know, they don't want to hurt other people. They don't want to feel awkward about the fact that the relationship didn't work out. And like, you know, and then the brother can't date any other sister in church because they're a bit awkward because the sister's friends with all the girls in church. So, you know, there's that little thing as well. You know, what would, obviously, you know, your relationship worked out, but then what piece of advice would you give to couples who are in that situation where it's kind of like, our relationship isn't going the best right now, and I think we do need to go our separate ways, but how do I do it?
I would say definitely talk to someone you trust in the church. You don't have to talk to everyone. It doesn't have to be the pastor. The pastor has enough to do with, please leave him alone. He has enough to do with, like,
it's true.
Connect group leader or life group leader, some churches call it life group, and mentors, people that are following up on you, people that you're really close with, other married women or men in church. Absolutely. So go to them and just, like, have that discussion, because sometimes, you know, it's hard to kind of work things out by yourselves. Like, the one thing that me and my husband found was that actually going and opening up to people about our situation helped, because he got the help that he needed, I got the help that I needed. We had our separate time and we both grew in ways that you couldn't imagine. And when we came back, it was stronger because we had people watching over us, praying over us. So I think it's good to go to someone that you trust and say to them, look, I don't think our relationship was working out and I don't really know how to go about it. And we've both agreed, it's a mutual agreement that we're not working out and we want to go our separate ways. And just go to someone that you trust and talk to them about it and make that decision.
And that's another thing as well, like, just end things amicably. Don't make a huge, situation out of something that doesn't need to be a huge situation.
Yeah.
And that's also another thing as well. I think churches should also be aware to not make the couples feel some type of way.
Yeah, or put like a pressure on them.
Or make them feel, oh my gosh, I cannot believe you didn't work out. Or oh my gosh, she's now talking to this person. Like, no, they don't need none of that. Just let it go. And also something I would also say as well is that not everyone needs to also know your business. You don't have to. Tell everybody. Not everybody needs to know it. It's not everyone's business. It's your business. If you feel like, you know what, I do want to announce it, stand up, make an announcement in church. That's your decision. If you don't want to, don't feel obligated to do that. You know, that it is your personal life, and as much as we're a family in church and everything like that, you do have the right to, keep some things to yourself. So, with that being said, I would also want to address, when you're in a relationship and it tends to feel like a one-sided effort. It's amazing. And when you go from, especially when you've been single for a long time, and then you're finally in a relationship, sometimes you don't want to let go because you don't want to go back to being single. And then it's also a case of, I want to make this work. I really, really want to make this work. I really like this person. I do think we have a future together, but if the person is not meeting you halfway with this vibe, we're talking about compromising and, you doing a bit and he does a bit. But if the person isn't meeting you halfway, or not trying to meet you halfway, what does that, what would you say to someone like that? Like, what does that mean,
I mean, it doesn't mean the end. Don't be dramatic. Because
especially women. Because
listen.
Things don't
he didn't text me back today.
Oh my
world is over. Calm down, sis. It's okay. No, I would say just communicate. Communication. Listen, don't listen to these people that tell you, you don't need to communicate when you're married. No, you communicate when you're friends. You communicate when you like each other, when the vibe is, a little bit tense, the romantic tension's there. You communicate when you're dating. Like, if you think, wow, I'm actually putting in 100 and this person isn't reciprocating, or I feel a bit underappreciated. Obviously, keep in mind your sole purpose is to serve the other person, right? Not your soul, but that's part of being in a relationship. You're there to serve. So even if you're doing things that are sacrifice, that's part of it. You have to sacrifice. But I think if you're feeling a bit underappreciated, then you just have to sit down with the person and be like, okay, babe, I think we need to talk just about the last couple of months or the last couple of weeks, or even the conversation we had. And I just think that you're not focusing, you're not paying attention to my needs, and I don't think it's fair because I'm getting burnt out. I'm running out of energy. I want to pour out to you, but I can't because I'm not receiving anything, and we need to work as a team, kind of thing. Just talk to the person, just have a conversation. And for ladies, if you're talking to a man, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Because you're gonna get yourself in a sticky situation.
Okay.
I've been in situations when I've been like, but it's how you say it. And for the men, don't shout at your girl. Why are you people why are you people yelling? Just talk softly.
It doesn't work. Literally in, out, it's gone.
If your tone is a little bit, she'll notice and she'll shut. She'll shut
and
down.
It's the tone that affects. It's not even the words you're saying. It's the tone. Literally, it's your body language. It's literally everything. And it's kind of
even if you're asking me, "Are you okay? I love you." But are you okay? You know I love you, innit?
No.
Will not talk. No. But I think just communicate, man. Communication.
I think that's really cool. And I think we should also recognize as well that everything has a season, right? So in relationships, obviously there are times where the other person is honestly just really, really busy and really exhausted from life, and you're just in an awkward situation where you just have to keep brightening up the mood and everything like that. And it is a give and take, and obviously there are times in relationships where someone's given more than the other, and vice versa as well. So I think it's also good. Obviously, no one knows your partner better than you, believe it or not. So if you're with someone at that moment in their life and in both your lives, you know them better than anybody, literally anyone in their lives. So you can literally decide and make a call for your relationship. As in, is this one of those seasons and we're gonna get through it and we're gonna bounce back, or is this just one of those things where it's okay, we've had a run, it's time to cut it, it's time to let it go. With that being said as well,
it happens, it's okay. This is the life of a YouTuber, y'all. When you go improvising,
you're so into
it, you're like,
okay, that's my point. So, with that being said, I do understand that, everything happens for a reason, just because you've been in that relationship and that one and it doesn't work, it doesn't mean they haven't served their purpose. Just because he was in the right one or she was in the right one. In everything we go through, we grow. My personal philosophy in life is I don't look back, not because of I look back to see what makes me fall, but not because of anything in terms of, my days, I wish I could have been different. I try to avoid what if situations or maybes, or I wish I did that. Simply because I like to look back and see how I grew.
That's good.
What could I have done differently that I'm gonna then take forward into my next relationship?
Definitely.
Or what did I do well? What did I learn about myself that I'm gonna bring forward into the next relationship? So I think that's one thing as well we should learn to do. And obviously, if it's a relationship where you guys did end things properly and there's no argument, I wouldn't say there's no argument. Obviously, someone would be upset. One person's bound to be upset, which is understandable. But if you can, I think a conversation with that person would be nice. Not, let's try and work things out if that's not what the relationship is going. But in terms of how was I a good girlfriend to you? What feedback in a way could you give me so I can improve on me as a person? Because I think with us as human beings, we like to believe we are really good people.
Yeah.
Oh, but newsflash, we're really not. And obviously, in that moment in time in your life, no one would know you better than whoever you were with. So they would be able to tell, here's the mirror, this is what you're really like. So I think a conversation like that would honestly be really, really beneficial. And you should just try to grow from that, try to learn from it. Because every relationship we go through, someone said, some people are meant to be in your life for a season. Some people are meant to be there for a lifetime. Some people are literally just there for a period, teach you a lesson and go. So it's up to you to pick up lessons. It's up to you to grow. It's up to you to mature from those things. And at the same time as well, do not let the pain of yesterday, hinder your tomorrow. Just because this didn't work out or he was some kind of way, don't then carry that hurt and that pain and then make the next brother having to pay for the let's try not to do that. You mentioned a lot of things in regards to communication and being transparent with your partner, and you are right. You have to learn to do these things because you can't just get into marriage and then you think you're going to learn to communicate when you do not communicate with a smile. Personally, I think one thing that really helps with communication is when you guys are friends first. I cannot stress, I don't know if you agree with me, I cannot stress how I honestly feel you should date your friend.
100%.
Because
100%.
It makes things so much easier. Don't get me wrong, some people, you guys are better friends than you guys are better,
yeah.
Which is fine, and everyone obviously makes the same way. Nobody's story is ever, the same. But being friends first really goes a long way, especially with communication.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know how your friend communicates. And I'm sure there are times where you don't love your husband because you guys are best friends, you like him, so it
literally
works. It works.
You just can't stay mad. It's so annoying because it's we'll have a disagreement because me and my husband don't argue, and we've decided we do not want to argue. We want to have conversations. We want to discuss things. We there are times where it's tense and it could turn into an argument, but we both have to remember, listen, I live with this person. We sleep in the same bed. There's no way that I can avoid you because you're there.
Can't kick you out.
100%. So it's there's just times when it's tense and I've been mad and I've just had I've been really, really mad at him. And then he'll just do something and I'm and because we're best friends I know his behavior. Like, I know when he's trying to get my attention. I know when he's trying to apologize for what he just did without saying anything.
Yeah.
So you end up smiling because you're just like, I know this guy. This guy's trying to, like, he just happened that way. So yeah, be best friends first. 100%. Yeah, it goes a long way. Yes.
Well, I'd like to say big, massive thank you to Michelle. Thank you so much. Sharing your words of wisdom. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really appreciate you. I really do hope you guys have enjoyed today's session with Discussion with Comfort. You know, share, like, subscribe, and also be putting her link as well to her YouTube channel, Insta, everything is literally down below. You know, like I said before, she is a web designer, she is an entrepreneur, she is self-employed, she is, what is it? She's an author, you know, writing these books out here, you know, she's a poet, you know, and a Mrs. So thank you so much for sharing with us your journey from Miss to Mrs. and the transition and everything. But so, until next time, guys, see you later. Bye. Bye. Okay, that was so long.